Well, the first exciting thing that happened in my life was when we moved to Michigan, and I got to work at Clark Equipment Company half a day and go to school the other half as a tool and die maker apprentice. And I graduated in 1942. I continued working at Clark's, and everybody else was going to the war because the World War II had started. Well, finally, I thought everybody else is gone but me, and I guess I felt guilty. I felt it was my duty to go to the service, so I joined the Navy. Then I found out after the war why the lady was deferring me because I was making things at Clark Equipment Company as a tool die maker. Well, anyway, I got the service, went to boot camp, and I went to service school as a machinist mate. Then I was put on this LST up at Pittsburgh. And we come down the Ohio River and down the Mississippi. In one spot we were going down the Mississippi River, and here was a whole bunch of black people on the beach. And the steward on board ship, "That's my parents and my brothers and sisters." So the captain literally stopped that LST right there in the middle of the river. And he lowered a boat, went ashore, and got his parents and a few of the others, brought them back on board, which was really against all rules because it was during wartime. But we were there maybe about an hour. And they took them back and then brought the boat back up. It was good practice on handling the LCVPs, they were called, landing craft infantry. We had 6 of them on board, all on the sides, 3 on each side. Well, we got down to New Orleans, was there, we got re-outfitted with a lot of things. And we loaded up with the Army. And went up along the coast, and we stopped in New York City. That's my first liberating experience in New York City. And we went up to Maine, and then from there we took what they call the northern route over to England. And that was to avoid the German U-boats, the torpedo boats. Well, see, nothing really happened then for quite a while. They called it Operation Tiger. And it turned out this was a month or 2 before D-Day. And we loaded up with the Army and were supposed to go up the coast to England and beach on England. There was 8 LSTs was our flotilla. But as we were leaving, we run into an English corvette. That's a ship. And so it ruined our bow doors, so we had to go back in to the dock, which we did. While the 7 other LSTs went on for the operation. As they were going in, here come a U-boat down between them. And being night, why they realized it was an E-boat, but yet the LSTs shot each other up. 700 Army men were killed, and a lot of damage to the LSTs, and they realized that they're shooting their own ships up. And I missed all that. Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
So They come back and got them all outfitted. And the next exciting thing was D-Day. We loaded up with the Army and we sat there, I think for a whole day, just off the coast of England, didn't do anything. And finally on June 6th, well, about midnight, we started for Normandy. And we got over, we sat there for a little bit, and then the sun came up, you could see the shore. But some of the other LSCs had already gone in, and the Liberty ships were all around it. There were so many ships that you turned around and looked towards England, you could not see the horizon because the ships were all there blocking off the view. That was amazing. I couldn't believe there was that many ships there, thousands of them. And of course, there's a German pillboxer up there. They were shooting at the ships, and they shot up a couple Liberty ships, and they were bringing casualties over to our ship before we even went into shore. And of course, my position, I was up what they call the black gang, attending the motors and the engines.
The black what?
Black gang.
Oh, black gang.
Yeah. So I had the earphones on and would handle the throttle and what they call the enunciators. They'd ring quarter speed, half speed, three-quarter, full speed, or reverse. And we moved the throttle. And here come this Army duck alongside. He threw lines up to the top of our ship, to our deck. And our ship listed. And those lines got tight, and it tipped that duck over. And there were 3 Army personnel on stretchers across the gunnels of that. And the ropes got tight and tipped that duck up like this. And those 3 guys slipped off into the water and drowned. So the next duck that came, they took the lines, run clear up sideways so that wouldn't happen. So it wouldn't tighten up and tip the duck.
Mm.
Well, then it was our turn to go into the beach. And, well, before we went in, there was the cruisers and the battleships were behind us. You could see a flash on the beach where the German bunkers were. Then you'd hear this kaboom. And where that flash was, there was a big explosion, and that ended that pillbox. So finally we went in and loaded our Army, let the bow down and open up the ramp, and let our Army off. Then was taking in casualties. As soon as we got 500 casualties on board, we raised our ramp, closed the doors, and went back to England. We made 52 round trips between England and France.
Wow.
Sometimes we'd pull up at Normandy Beach, but because of the big bank there, we kind of stopped doing that and would go up the St. River to St. Lo, because that had been captured, was in the Americans and British hands. So we'd go up there to the dock and unload and come back. But one time when we were on the beach, the third or fourth trip, is one Luftwaffe come over, and there was 4 LSTs on the beach. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Say what the LST is again.
Yeah, these were LSTs on the beach.
But what LST stands for?
Landing Ship Tank.
Right.
And he dropped a bomb, and one lit here at the side of the LST, between, and between. It never hit an LST. It came this side in our LST. We were one in the middle, I forgot which one. But nobody was hurt. But, of course, they called the general quarters, and when they do that, well, we run down to our general quarters station. Mine was down in the engine room. Well, that bomb shook the ship so bad, it knocked me off the ladder. The way we would go down the ladder, you put your feet on the side rail, and just take your hand and just go down like this. You could go down real fast.
You went really fast.
Yeah, so it knocked the rod out of my hand, and I fell and ruined my tailbone.
Yeah. And you didn't tell anybody either, did you?
No,
You
I
didn't go to the
anybody.
doctor or
I was
anything.
embarrassed that I fell off the ladder. Yeah. But then, see, after that, well, then the war ended. Well, then we come back to the LST, back to New York, and stopped and had Liberty there, and then come down to New Orleans. And then I got transferred to officer training school in Farragut, Idaho. Well, while I was there, the Japanese war ended. So then I was washed out of officers training school and was put on board this PCE, called a Patrol Craft Escort. And we would go out in the middle of the Atlantic and sit there for 30 days, and then come in for 15 into Hawaii. And of course, there were so many servicemen in Hawaii that you couldn't find any girls in the bars like you could in England. And have fun, take a liberty. But my dad got sick, had a heart attack, and my brother told the American Red Cross, and they made arrangements for me to be transported from the PEC to the aircraft carrier, which they were on the way back to the United States. So they transferred me by Breeches Boy. That's a big canvas bag. There I went, swooping on it, hanging there by this big rope, and got slack. And the bottom of that bucket hit the water, and I could hear somebody yell, "Hit it!" And they tied that thing in. I went flying up in the air.
Wow.
But I got over on the aircraft carrier, and 3 days later, or I don't know how many days it was, I come into San Diego, and I reported in, and the guy says, "Well, you've been bumped from the morning flight to an afternoon flight." And I thought, well, the way it goes. Well, out here walked up this guy, and he says, "Are you Pierce?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "I've been looking all over for you. You were supposed to report into the American Red Cross." I thought, well, I guess I goofed it up. And I told him what had happened. He says, "We'll see about that." Well, he came back and said, "You're back on the day flight." So I had 1 hour to get on the plane and go. We flew into St. Louis. And from there on, I took a commercial plane into Chicago and then on home. My dad hadn't passed away yet. Matter of fact, he was getting a lot better. But that officer then took the flight on the that afternoon plane. And that afternoon plane went down in Arizona and killed everybody.
Yeah.
So that's how close I come to it again. So somebody's been looking after me.
Yep.
And well, that's about all I got to say.
Okay, that's quite a story. Thank you.
One thing that I forgot to mention, they sent me to gunnery school in Norfolk, Virginia. From the LST over there, they sent a bunch of stuff over there to learn how to fire the guns. Well, the guns were all lined up there in a row, and the guy on the PA system said, all those north of this control tower cease fire. The others continue fire when ready. When the target would come over behind the airplane. Well, so I was standing there beside this 40mm cannon, the gun, and the guy started shooting. Of course, the flame come out of the thing and hit me in the side of the face, and the sound, it almost knocked me down. But I kept my balance. But I couldn't hear for 3 days after that. My hair was all singed. I'm lucky I still have my eyes. But,
Yeah.
I think that's why my ears has been hard of hearing ever since.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, thank you.